Tell me something about yourself, Pritika.
Good afternoon. I'm Chartered Accountant. I'm qualified in the attempt of December 2021, and I've done my articleship from a mid-sized firm, PPKG and Co. I'm basically from Hyderabad. During my articleship, I have experience in audit. I've conducted various kind of audits like statutory audits, internal audits, as well as the ICAI testings and bank audit. And I have post qualification experience of 1 year. Currently, I'm working in a CA firm. It is an international firm. It is a Hyderabad firm, and I'm currently working in an internal audit domain.
What were the major client experiences which you had? Cite only 3 of them.
Client observations which I had were, first there was a split POs for bypassing the strategy. They have split the POs, PO amount, PO quantities. In order, this is called as bypassing the release strategy basically. And the sales were made to the related parties at the higher price to inflate the revenues. So I have checked this by taking the related party list, and by inquiring the management, I've seen the sales amount which has been made to the related parties. So the sales were basically inflated by making it to the at higher price to the related
What
party.
client it was? What type of client it was?
It was a manufacturing company.
Name of the company?
Name of the company is a pharma company, Aurobindo.
What is the annual sales of this company approximately?
Turnover, which I can recall, is more than 200 crore.
200 crore. And what are the different business segments which this company has?
It has the chemicals production company. It usually produce companies and sell the chemicals.
But what are the areas where it sells the chemicals? What are the different products it has?
Mention the chemicals names or how
Yeah.
it is?
If you remember, what are the different product lines it has? This company has.
The chemicals name I can't remember, but there were various kind of chemicals which were used in making medicines.
Which countries does Aurobindo Pharma sells the products? Which countries it has its?
Exports. It doesn't have exports. It is a domestic company.
What is the implication of Ind AS 115? How the company is recognizing the revenue as per Ind AS 115?
As per Ind AS 115, revenue is recognized over a period of time and at a point of time. Over a period of time, the revenue will be recognized when the activity is being done. And in case of at a point of time, the revenue wholly will be recognized.
How do you do the control testing?
Control testing, first I'll take the RCM from the client and then see the control objectives which are there and the risk that is being associated with such controls, and then build our own testing strategies on the basis of that controls.
You have written like I've seen that you have written ICFR testing, okay, and internal audit of HMS host company. Okay, what are the points that you have mentioned in this ICFR testing, and what was the major observation in ICFR testing of this company?
In ICFR testing, in P2P process, which I have found is the payments were made without the three-way match, and the quantities were not matching with the goods receipt note, invoice, and our purchase order. And I've also seen that in many cases, the goods receipt note date was earlier than the PO date. So goods were received even in more quantities in which was mentioned in the PO. So this was basically a system gap. How system is actually allowing the goods receipt note to be generated when the PO is even not released.
What is IFC testing?
IFC testing is a more broader concept than the ICAI testing. It includes fraud related controls as well as operation related controls. But in ICAI testing, we don't include fraud-related and operation-related controls. So it is much broader concept than the ICAI.
What are the components in IFC testing?
In IFC testing, there are 3 types of controls. What we test is the controls which are affecting the financials, and also fraud-related controls, and the controls relating to the operations. So these are the elements.
Okay. You have done the manufacturing company audit, manufacturing of chemicals, limited company, private limited companies, vouching verification. Okay. What is the difference between vouching and verification?
Vouching will be done on the P&L items, whereas we verify the items, verification will be done on the balance sheet items, assets and liabilities.
Okay. What is the statutory dues provision as per the CARO?
As per CARO, there is a clause 7. So if there are 2 types of statutory dues, one is undisputed and disputed. In case of undisputed statutory dues, that has to be disclosed in CARO clause 7. And in case of disputed statutory dues, the amount also need to be mentioned. And the statutory dues which are due for more than 6 months should also be disclosed.
You've done the bank audit of nationalized bank. Okay. What are the steps that you have performed while doing the bank audit?
I have done bank audit. This was my first assignment in my articleship period. So I went with a senior where I have done few verifications of. First is cash verification was done, seeing the cash, whether loose cash, and counting it whether it is been matching or not. And second is the CIBIL, whether the loan that is been provided is on the basis of CIBIL score or not. In many cases, the CIBIL points, usually the CIBIL point should be 700, so that loan should be given. So that list was verified.
Why the Index 116 was introduced?
India 16 has been in 116. India 16, sorry.
Right.
PP. Because of the fair value which was lacking in the accounting standard.
Leases. 116.
116. Okay, 116 leases because of the in accounting standard we were having financial as well as operating lease, but whereas in the new in the India's we don't have that bifurcation of financial and operating.
Why it was introduced?
Because of global comparativity, we can do better, and to ensure more reliance for the users of financial statement.
Right. कोमल आप सुन रहे हैं क्या? कोमल?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
वीडियो ऑन रखिए आप, ठीक है? जो चीज हम आपको रिपीट करवाएगा सारा चीज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, ठीक है? What is the identifiable lease as per the lease standard? Identifiable lease.
Identifiable
Asset. What is identifiable asset? What is the definition of an identifiable asset?
Identifiable asset is nothing but the right to whenever the lessor gives the right to use that asset over a period of time to the lessee, that is called as an identifiable asset, through which the rights can be used by the lessee over a period of time in the exchange of consideration.
One needs to be checked. What is an identifiable asset as per the standard? What is that? There are 2 points out there. What are those?
So I just said the definition of identifiable asset. That is right is given to use that asset to the lessee over a period of time in exchange of consideration.
I think there are 2 points. The customer has the right to use, has substantially used all the benefits of the asset, and the supplier does not have the substitution right. So that has to be also mentioned. The supplier does not have the substitution right. He has a right to substitute the asset. Okay. Case study. Our employee has been given a car to use for convenience to and fro from his home to office. Will this fall under the definition of a lease?
A car, yes.
Yes.
It
Why?
Yeah, it falls the lease.
Why?
no, it actually doesn't fall under the lease because the car right is not being used by the employees. Employees do not have the right to use that asset. So it does not fall under the definition of identified asset. So it can't be said as a given on lease.
It is not a need. It's because it's not an
It is not.
identifiable asset. The risks and reward of ownership is
It
not
does
getting
not fall in the
covered. It is
definition
only
of
for the office
identifiable
purpose
asset.
only. Good. A water purifier is given for 88 months to an employee as a gift, and it will be taken back after 8 months from him. Is this a
It is
lease?
usually, this asset is usually given for less than 1 year. So lease does not apply to low value assets, and as well as the asset which is used for a period of less than 1 year.
What will be the revenue recognition in the case of Ola? How will they recognize revenue? Ola.
On the basis of revenue over, not at a point of time or over a period of time. These are only the two cases where the revenue can be recognized. But in
Whether
case
they will
of
record
Ola,
purchase sales, how they will recognize whether the revenue is they're getting the revenue from the customers, okay, from the passengers. Whether they will record it as a revenue or how will they recognize it?
they'll record it as a revenue over a period of time, I feel, in this case.
Record it as commission. Commission
Yeah,
income. They will
commission.
take the commission, so whatever the commission is coming, the e-commerce operator records commissions. This is something which is
Sorry,
very
at a
important
point of time, or it will be over a period of time?
over a period of time. Okay, what is the revenue? What is the conditions of this control transfer over a period of time conditions?
Over a period of time, the customer has actually when we have the right to use the asset, because work is being performed on the customer asset, and the control is a control which cannot be there is no alternative use for that asset, so control is over that. These are the two conditions which I can recall.
There are more conditions. Mhm. And they have the right to get the payment for the work done
Right to
so
get
far.
the payment
That also is there. Right to get the payment for the work done so far.
so far.
That is also there. What is lease as per India's 116 definition? Definition of lease as per 116.
Lease is a contract under which the lessor, one party, gives a asset to use to the other asset, and the benefits of that asset can be used by the lessee in exchange of consideration as per the contract.
Okay. What is finance lease? 5 conditions.
Conditions of finance lease. The asset can be used for asset life is no lease payment. Lease payment percentage is more. Minimum lease payment percentage is covering most of the total lease payment amount, as well as the life has been covering major portion of the life of the asset.
Here it was mentioned on the substantial identifiable lease, everything all over. So this needs to be done properly. Okay. I have asked from this only most of the questions. Conditions. I think you can find out here also maybe some conditions. Control transfer over a crime. This is the conditions that you need to
Yes,
remember.
I've gone through that conditions part also.
Mhm. What question I asked you just now? Finance lease condition.
Finance lease.
Easy question only. What
One
are the
is
3,
lease
5 conditions?
payment is covering. One is a lease payment covering the major part of lease payments, and life is also covering the major life of the asset, as well as it has right to lessee will be having the right to purchase the asset at the end of the lease term.
Mhm. Then
3 conditions and one more
asset is of specialized nature.
asset is of specialized nature.
स्पेशलाइज नेचर की वही यूज कर सकता है और कोई यूज नहीं कर लाइक अ हाउस ओके तो वही चीज हो गया कि उसके तरीके से बनाया और एक और होता है
These are only 4
परचेज एट अ लोअर
conditions.
प्राइस परचेज एट अ लोअर प्राइस एट द एंड ऑफ द
At the
टर्म
end of the lease term.
ठीक है, तो 5 कंडीशन 3-4 भी बोल देंगे तो कुछ बोलने लायक है, you can tell them. Okay. What is the difference between India's 115 and AS9?
In India's 115, there is a revenue which is being recognized when the control is been transferred, control over a period of time and at a point of time. Whereas in AS9, it was on the risk, when the risk and reward were transferred. And in India's 115, we recognize revenue. It has a various separate performance obligation. And in AS9, there were no performance obligation defined. And it was on the basis of when the goods were delivered or services were rendered, and interest and royalty. And disclosure is given in contract with the customer in case of 115. In case of AS9, there was disclosure of the accounting policy. Here we also, India's 115 also guides on the measurement of various elements which are being covered in the contract. In AS9, no such guidance is given. In India's 115, there was also a capitalization. It also talks about the capitalization, the cost which has been incurred to fulfill the contract. This capitalization guidance has not been given in AS9. So these are the few differences between 115 and 9.
What is compound financial instrument?
Compound financial instrument is it is a combination of the debt as well as the equity instrument. So it is inclusive of both.
What is embedded derivatives?
Embedded derivatives has
सब क्वेश्चंस लिखते जाओ आप लोग, क्वेश्चंस कुछ भी मत छोड़ो. कंपाउंडेड फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट, एम्बेडेड डेरिवेटिव्स, क्या होता है जब ये क्वेश्चन एक्सेल में करेगा ना सर्च, तो आपको भी थोड़ा इजी रहेगा, स्टक होगा, हाँ ये आ सकता है. सही. एम्बेडेड डेरिवेटिव्स,
embedded derivative has debt portion, also even have the equity portion.
क्या होता है ना जब आप लोग पढ़ाई करते हैं, जब ये सेशन पूछ लिया जाता है तो अपन में ज्यादा सीरियस होकर पढ़ते हो उस चीज को, और बोरिंगनेस कम होता है. जब चीज, हाँ ये चीज तो डिस्कस किया था, ये चीज डिस्कस हुआ था, वो ज्यादा सीरियसनेस के साथ याद रहता है फिर कोई भी चीज. ठीक है. व्हाट इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ अ हाइब्रिड इंस्ट्रूमेंट?
A hybrid instrument, I can give example.
What is the other name of a hybrid instrument?
Can't recall, sir.
Compounded financial instrument को हाइब्रिड इंस्ट्रूमेंट बोलते
हाँ,
हैं.
compound.
ठीक है.
Compounded.
एग्जांपल्स ऑफ कंपाउंडेड फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट.
So debentures.
Redeemable preference shares with
Redeemable
discretionary interest and equity
debentures.
components. ठीक है. ठीक है. ठीक. A builder has many flats around 500 and he has hired a broker to sell the flats. What will be the revenue recognition in the books of the broker?
Broker will recognize commission.
What is the why he will recognize commission?
The only commission part he'll be receiving, sir. So
Why?
he will
Why
be
will be
recognizing.
why he will recording as a commission broker? Because he's agent. ठीक है, तो एजेंट है ना, इसलिए ब्रोकर इज एन एजेंट. व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एन एजेंट? फिर बताइए डेफिनेशन ऑफ एजेंट एज पर द रेलेवेंट इंडियस क्या होगा? व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एन एजेंट एज पर द इंडियस? लिखते जाइए, जहां जहां पर आप स्टक कर रहा था आप लिखते जा रहे हो ना. अरे नोटिंग
Yes,
डाउन
yes,
ना.
I understand.
ओके. व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एन एजेंट? हाइब्रिड और कंपाउंड फाइनेंशियल में एक ही था, कंफ्यूज हो रहे थे. ओके. व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एजेंट एज पर इंडियस 115?
Agent does not bear the burden of the inventory risk, as well as at his own discretion he cannot set the price, and he also not have burden of selling the item.
Fulfilling the contract. ठीक है.
Fulfilling the contract.
Why Indias was introduced?
India, because there were major shortcomings in accounting standards, like they were not following the fair value concept. So introduce the fair value concept, the Indias has been introduced, and to ensure that the shareholders are more transparent information has been given to the shareholders, and they can rely properly, as well as global comparisons.
What is the India's turnover limits? To whom it is applicable and to whom it is not applicable?
When the net worth is, if the net worth of the company is more than 250 crore and the listed companies.
To whom it is not applicable till now?
the companies which are falling under this limit, for them it is also it is not applicable. That I can say.
Does Ind AS apply to banks, insurance companies?
Bank insurance.
Yes.
No.
No, sir.
Yes.
No,
So
no,
it
not applied.
applies.
No.
No.
Till now not applied for banking and insurance.
I don't know why.
What is the entry in the books of in the finance lease? What is the entry in the books of the lessee? As per the
In
Ind
case
AS
of
116.
lessee, as per 116, in case of lessee, there'll be a ROU asset to the lease liability, and then finance interest to the lease liability, then finance income to the P&L to the finance income.
What are the components of ROU?
Components of the ROU. No, sir, I'm not aware of this.
ये लिख लो, components of ROU. Anybody wants to knows about it? Components of ROU. क्या-क्या चीज आएगा ROU asset के अंदर में?
Sir, fixed lease payment
Present value of lease. Yes, sir.
and recoverable, purchase option, lease incentive,
टर्मिनेशन क्लॉज होगा कुछ ना कुछ, उसका भी पेनल्टी देना
and
पड़ेगा।
guarantee
जब आप
value.
घर खरीदते हैं तो क्या-क्या खर्चा लगता है? सबसे ही आई जगह फिक्स खर्चा लगता है, ब्रोकर को कुछ देता है, टर्मिनेशन पेनल्टी लगा
Present
दिया।
value.
तो
So
वही
present value
कुछ ना कुछ तो
of
बोल ही
the
दीजिए।
liability plus
जब आप घर
initial day of
खरीदते हैं तो क्या-क्या
cost.
खर्चा लगता है? उससे आपको ROU एसेट का आंसर मिल जाएगा मोटा-मोटी।
हाँ।
घर खरीदता है तो ब्रोकर का
हाँ।
खर्चा लगेगा, ये लगेगा, रजिस्ट्रेशन चार्जेस, वो
Plus present
चार्जेस,
value of
फिक्स
the
खर्चा
commissioning
लगेगा,
cost.
टर्मिनेशन क्लॉज लगेगा कि आपके ऊपर टर्मिनेशन पेनल्टी अगर आप पहले छोड़ दिया तो थिंग्स आप बना ही सकते हैं फिर। ठीक है। What is the journal entry in the books of lessor?
It will be lease receivable to the bank, and finance cost will be there in this
Lease
case.
receivable to
So
bank.
No, not bank.
Revenue.
Asset ही recognize हो रहा है ना बुक से,
Assets,
बुक से हट रहा है
assets.
एसेट को, एसेट तो आपका हट रहा है बुक से,
In the credit
तो तुम तो
side.
दे दिया उसको, तो लीज रिसीवेबल टू एसेट। और उसके बाद
One will be the finance cost, or no, finance income will be there for the lessor.
तो इंटरेस्ट पे करना पड़ेगा क्या कि रिसीव होगा? इंटरेस्ट रिसीव होगा,
Income होगा.
इनकम होगा कहाँ? तो लीज रिसीवेबल अकाउंट टू एसेट गया हाथ से, है ना? तो लीज रिसीवेबल टू इंटरेस्ट
Finance
इनकम
income.
और इंटरेस्ट टू पीएनएल, ऐसे करके बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट टू लीज रिसीवेबल, फिर बाद में जाके ये सब चीज आपको थोड़ा बहुत याद रखना। ऑपरेटिंग लीज में क्या होगा? अगर ये ऑपरेटिंग लीज है तो क्या होगा? तब तो एसेट कोई रिकॉग्नाइज ही नहीं हुआ बुक्स में, राइट? तो बैंक अकाउंट डेबिट टू पैसा आया टू
Asset to गया.
एसेट तो है ही नहीं ना
Bank
अकाउंट में,
asset.
तो लीज रिसीवेबल ऑपरेटिंग लीज ही था मेरा, एसेट तो गया नहीं, एसेट दिया ही नहीं ना किसी को हमने, क्या होगा? ये थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा आप लोगों को। लेसर का बुक्स में क्या होगा एंट्री? ऑपरेटिंग लीज एंड फाइनेंस लीज का केस में क्या होगा? ये एक अच्छा से देख के मेरे को भी लिख के दीजिएगा आप एक्सेल शीट में, मेरे को भी अपडेट करना है, ये बहुत पूछता है आजकल, दिस नीड्स टू बी चेक्ड। ये इंपॉर्टेंट आंसर आपको याद रखना है। अच्छा ठीक है, आपने अच्छे ही पढ़ा है, ठीक है। डेफर्ड टैक्स एसेट क्या होता है? 100% पूछेगा, 101%। डेफर्ड टैक्स एसेट क्या होता है?
Because of the timing differences, the deferred tax asset or deferred tax liability will be arising because of
एग्जाम्पल इन डेज में डेफर्ड टैक्स पूछते ही पूछते हैं, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एग्जाम्पल
because of income tax rate depreciation rates, the differences arise. So that then
DTL होता है क्रिएट। और अभी बात हुआ था क्या होता है? कोमल कन्वर्ट डेप्रिसिएशन, अभी बात हुआ तुम लोग का डेफर्ड टैक्स का क्या एग्जांपल्स होता है?
Prepaid expenses, losses.
prepaid expenses.
प्रीपेड कहाँ होता है? प्रीपेड नहीं होता है।
Prepaid आता है.
Section 43.
सेक्शन 43B और अनअमोर्टाइज्ड preliminary expenses, unamortized preliminary expense, section 43B, carry forward of losses, तो ये लिख लीजिए, carry forward losses section 43B or unamortized preliminary expenses
Unamortized.
or depreciation leads to DTL. मोटा-मोटी ये याद रखना जरूरी है. What is virtual certainty, Ritika? In case of deferred tax, virtual certainty concept.
DTA will be recognized on no DTA will be recognized if we don't have the virtual certainty of having the benefit in future.
If there is a loss today, and then the DTA will be recognized only if it is virtual certain that there will be foreseeable future profits in the future.
Foreseeable future benefits in future.
Profit होगा कि नहीं होगा, तो वो चीज आपको देखना है. तो वो एक बार देख लीजिएगा. How do you check virtual certainty? By checking the projected financials, balance sheet, P&L, projected sales profit हो रहा है, वो लोग का profit में बदल रहे हैं, net profit होने वाला है. Then we'll check that. ये पूछ लेता है. ठीक है. External indicator and internal indicators of impairment.
External indicators are rapid changes in technology, and the goods have been not saleable in the market, and the competitor has been arrived in the market who is selling better products. So these are the external indicators, and internal will be the fire damage and wear and tear in the machine, as well as physical damage to the assets.
Okay. What is the discount rate that is used in the books of lessee?
In the books of lessee, it will be on the basis of a IRR, lesser IRR, internal rate of return, or if that is not there, then borrowing rate, discounted
Lessee
borrowing.
lessee incremental borrowing rate. ठीक है. Lessee incremental borrowing rate. तो पढ़ना पड़ेगा बहुत अच्छा से आपको. बहुत सारा एरिया में बोल रहे हैं. ठीक है. तो एक बार ये क्यों होता है, सब लोग पढ़ के गो थ्रू करता है. एक बार रिकॉर्ड करिए खुद को, वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग करिए, एक अंदर से गो थ्रू करिए, आपको गलती नहीं होगा. लेसर आईआरआर, इफ दैट इज नॉट अवेलेबल लेसर आईआरआर, लेसी का इंक्रीमेंटल बोरोइंग रेट. ठीक है. लेसी इंक्रीमेंटल बोरोइंग रेट. ठीक है. यार इंडिया में पूछते हैं कि एसडीसी ग्लोबल में नहीं पूछेगा इतना. दे विल नॉट गेट इनटू टू मच ऑफ डिटेल्स. वहां पर मैं ठंडा रहना, वहां पर कोई टेंशन नहीं, इतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं पूछेगा. वो जाके कुछ एक दो पूछ ले, उसका मन हुआ तो अलग बात है, जनरली नहीं पूछेगा. ठीक है. फिर भी आपका काम है, सब पढ़ लिया ये सब चीज. ठीक है. व्हेन डू वी रिकॉग्नाइज अमोर्टाइज कॉस्ट एज पर इंड AS 109? कब हम लोग अमोर्टाइज कॉस्ट में रिकॉग्नाइज करेगा फाइनेंशियल एसेट लायबिलिटी जो भी है?
When the intention is not to hold the asset, till its maturity, only earning the interest.
Amortized cost में तो held to maturity होता है.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Amortized cost is held for maturity. The business model to collect the principal and interest. मैंने ये दिया था क्या आपको? मैंने ये भी तो दिया था ना. ये देखिएगा, एक मिनट. ये देखिए, इसमें है, सब यहाँ से पूछे हैं. ये आपका इसमें था कि नहीं था? यहाँ पर मैं तो ठीक है, सब कुछ यहाँ से पूछ रहे हैं मोटा मोटी. ठीक है. ये भी पूछ लेता है, when the PO is distinct, 3 conditions when the PO can be distinct, not integrated, customized, interrelated. Performance obligation, distinct PO कैसे पता चलेगा? It's not integrated, not customized, not interrelated. थोड़ा आपको
115 तो हो गया है सर एक बार अच्छे से.
109
थोड़ा फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स.
आपको ये वाला पूछेगा, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक क्रेडिट लेजर नहीं, एक्सपेक्टेड क्रेडिट लॉस. What is expected credit loss? What is the journal entry of expected credit loss? Lifetime ECL, 12 month का ECL, ये पढ़ लीजिए अच्छा से. एक्सपेक्टेड क्रेडिट लॉस और था नोट्स बना के हमको भी दीजिएगा, अच्छा से पढ़िए. बहुत पूछता है एक्सपेक्टेड क्रेडिट लॉस, पूछेगा ही पूछेगा. ये जनरली आपका ट्रेड रिसीवेबल में कैलकुलेट करता है एक्सपेक्टेड क्रेडिट लॉस कितना होगा. इसके ऊपर में अच्छा से रिसर्च करिए, एक्सपेक्टेड क्रेडिट लॉस. ठीक है. लिख लीजिए, एक्सपेक्टेड क्रेडिट लॉस पूछता है. ठीक है. मोटा मोटी ठीक है. आपका इतना डीप भी नहीं पूछेगा आई थिंक, फिर भी पढ़ लिए तो क्या है, खराबी क्या है, नुकसान नहीं है. ये सब ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइस कैसे कैलकुलेट होता है? ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइस, स्टैंड अलोन सेलिंग प्राइस, इफ दैट इज नॉट अवेलेबल देन मार्केट कॉम्पिटिटर प्राइस, मार्केट असेसमेंट अप्रोच, इफ बोथ आर नॉट अवेलेबल देन कॉस्ट प्लस मार्जिन, इफ दैट इज ऑन द रेसिडुअल प्राइस मेथड. तो ट्रांजैक्शन प्राइसेस पर इंड AS कैसे वो एलोकेट होगा? How they will be determined? How the transaction price is determined as per the Ind AS 115. But standalone selling price, if that is not available, market price, competitor price, if that is also not, cost plus margin, profit वही तो लेगा. इफ दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट रेसिडुअल प्राइस, तो थोड़ा बहुत गो थ्रू कर लीजिएगा। अगेन आई एम सेइंग ग्लोबल के लिए एंड एसडीसी के लिए इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, बट फिर भी तुम लोगों को अगर बाहर में जाना है तो वहां पर थोड़ा डीप जा सकता है, तो यू कैन गेट इनटू दिस इतना लेवल का। तो ये ठीक है, ये एक हो गया। और एक आपको ये भी पढ़ लेना, ये लोग पूछ रहा है कि आजकल, अभी पूछा था ज्यादा करके, अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसीज क्या होता है ये। डेप्रिसिएशन लीफो से फीफो हो गया, डेप्रिसिएशन का डब्ल्यूडीबी से वो हो गया, तो क्या होगा, अकाउंटिंग पॉलिसी होगा कि एस्टिमेट होगा, पॉलिसी होगा। अकाउंट एस्टिमेट क्या होता है, प्रोविजन, प्रोडक्ट वारंटी वगैरह चेंज हो गया कुछ, तो एस्टिमेट है। तो एस्टिमेट और पॉलिसी पूछ लेता है लोग, ठीक है। लीफो से फीफो हो गया, पॉलिसी लगा, एक बार चेक कर लेना। डेप्रिसिएशन डब्ल्यूडीबी से एसएलएम हो गया, एसएलएम से डब्ल्यूडीबी हो गई, क्या हो गया ये, चेंज इन अकाउंटिंग
Change in
पॉलिसी।
accounting policy.
if there are two CGU कुछ होता है ना, क्या होता है CGU था, क्या होता है
generating unit.
Cash
generating
generating
unit.
हाँ कैश जनरेटिंग। तो हाउ विल यू डू द इम्पेयरमेंट टेस्टिंग, पूछा था एक जन को। तो ये एक क्वेश्चन पढ़ लेना, तो खोजना इसका क्या होगा इसका आंसर, हाउ डू यू डू द इम्पेयरमेंट टेस्टिंग। सीएफओ एडवाइजरी में पूछा था एक को, ठीक है। तो ये थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा कैसे करके इम्पेयरमेंट होता है, उसमें था ना ये सीजीयू का बारे में बहुत होता है एक्सप्लेनेशन, कि हम लोग मिला
हाँ,
के लेते हैं
Yes,
जैसे
sir.
करके। तो इम्पेयरमेंट वाला स्टैंडर्ड बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पूछता है। फिर कंट्रोल ट्रांसफर एग्जांपल हो गया, कंस्ट्रक्शन न्यूज़पेपर टीचिंग, फिर ये हो गया। फिर सेल्फ जनरेटेड गुडविल को लेके काफी पूछ रहे हैं कि कैन वी, सेल्फ जनरेटेड गुडविल तो बुक्स में रिकॉग्नाइज होता ही नहीं है, बैलेंस शीट में नहीं होता है। परचेज गुडविल ही रिकॉग्नाइज होता है। परचेज गुडविल रिकॉग्नाइज कब होगा, बुक्स में कैसे होगा। गुडविल क्या होता है, आप ज्यादा पे किए हैं वही तो गुडविल है। बुक वैल्यू से ज्यादा पे किया तभी तो गुडविल है। उसका फॉर्मूला क्या है गुडविल का, पूछ लेता है। परचेज गुडविल, आप सेल्फ जनरेटेड गुडविल बैलेंस शीट में कभी नहीं दिखाएगा, बट परचेज गुडविल दिखाएगा। पर उसको कैसे दिखाएगा, कैसे दिखाएगा पता है,
So PC
गुडविल था ना।
PC
Sir,
minus
वो
net
future
हाँ?
economic benefit flow करेगा, but
इसका
वो
फॉर्मूला होगा
condition
ना
है
कि आपने इतना
recognition
पे
का।
किया है, आपने उसका जो
So
नेट
purchase
एसेट्स है उससे ज्यादा पे
consideration
कर दिया,
minus net assets acquired.
ठीक है।
हम्म,
वो चीज है, ठीक है। ऐसा ही सब याद रखना है। फिर ये पूछता है कैन वी कैपिटलाइज इंटरनली जनरेटेड सॉफ्टवेयर, ये देखना पड़ेगा कि इंटरनली जनरेटेड कोई चीज है, कैन वी कैपिटलाइज इट, सब यूज करने के लिए वो भी चीज पूछ लेता है। कैन वी कैपिटलाइज इंटरनली जनरेटेड सॉफ्टवेयर, ठीक है, ये पूछ लेता है थोड़ा, ठीक है। सेम लिंक में आ जाइए और डिस्कस कर लेते हैं एक बार के लिए, वील डिस्कस इट, सेम लिंक में आ जाइए आप लोग, ठीक है। कम और आपका 15-20 मिनट और कर लेते हैं डिस्कस, ठीक है। आई थिंक दिस इज मोर देन एनफ तुम्हारा इंडिया के लिए, और भी हम देख लेते हैं। 15-20 मिनट आ जाते हैं, सेम लिंक में आ जाइए सब जना, भागा दौड़ी मत करिएगा।
Okay, okay.